Hi, I'm Leonard Maltin.
I'm Mark Kausler.
And we're watching Oh, What a Night.
And this is probably one of the best preserved of the late 20s Oswalds. I think this is actually on 35 millimeter. I think the American Film Institute restored this one. This little scene here was done by Hugh Harman, just the opening shot.
And of course, how do you convey music in a silent cartoon? You show a proliferation of musical notes.
And you hope you have a really good piano player or organist to accompany
exactly.
it, too, like this one does. But you can really see Hugh's liquid way of moving a character around and how he always took the hard way out.
How do you mean?
Like the elaborate skipping patterns of the horse and how the horse tumbles one way and Oswald's running over the top of him another way. That's Hamilton stuff there. Crudely drawn, but funny.
That was a nice bounce. He actually squashed into nothing as he landed on the ground.
This becomes a line, effectively. That's called a vignette. Little vignette close-up showing the tail parting so you don't miss it. This is all Ham stuff, too. Those are some of those little lines, little spark lines that Walt loved. Like where characters laughing, he always would put those little spark highlight lines. This is Ham stuff right here.
And again, a whistle.
Yeah, that's Ham's scene, too, of the little girl. This one, I think, owes something to Fairbanks' Robin Hood, because Walt was a big fan of Doug Fairbanks. He did some Mickeys that were kind of in that vein later on, like the Gallopin' Gaucho and things like that. Yeah, that's all Ham stuff.
And more sparks and such.
Right.
Yeah. And embarrassment. Always embarrassment. The embarrassed thing with the face flushing, what we would call blushing, and if it was a color cartoon, they would have them go red.
It would
but this
turn
is
red.
Black and white.
And the wonder of that scene is that because Oswald effectively has a white mask on a black face, you can just flicker it on and off, and it conveys embarrassment.
Here he rings himself out. Isn't that great?
That's the kind of run they did in the 20s that I love, which is just one leg up, one leg down, one leg up, one leg down. It's very flickery and funny.
Here's
an escalator.
Kids, don't try that perspective at home.
Escalator tail.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Ham stuff, too. That kind of bouncing up and down the little girl was doing and is very indicative of being anxious about something. That's how they convey that. It's a pantomime way of doing it. Ham was very good at pantomime. And then, of course, the endless arm to kiss as it comes out. Yeah, this one is pretty steamy on the kissing side.
Steamy indeed, yes.
You'll see that later on in a scene that Ub Iwerks did. Wow.
Now, I understand we're not supposed to think about this too carefully.
Whoa!
But we do have a rabbit courting a cat whose protective father appears to be a bear. I guess you're just not supposed to pay attention to those things.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Putrid Pete, I think, is the character here. Now, this is Ub stuff.
How can you tell?
Because of the solidity of the drawing and the way he draws the feet. Like, look, they're like little, almost like loaves of bread, and they have corners to them. This is definitely Ub stuff with the shadows.
And how impressive that is,
He loved to do anything with lighting, effects, all that kind of stuff. That's pretty nice, just letting your shadow do your work for you. Now, this is very Fairbanksian, where he keeps running back to kiss the heroine to give him more energy, to keeping on valiantly for her. Wow.
This is a completely visual cartoon.
It is. And there's no actual dialogue titles in it, which is interesting.
I hadn't noticed that. You're right.
Nobody has to speak a word or say a word. It's all done in pantomime.
Oswald's, now his whole body is spinning there. His head flew off before the endless arm.
And he does a little skip and goes back. And you noticed in the one scene, the way his tongue was drawn, that looks exactly like Mickey's tongue later on in Steamboat Willie and Plane Crazy. There's a big exaggeration.
And again, they were running in such a heated way, there was smoke coming out off their feet.
And that was also showing a stretch to buy time, which makes the scene funnier, where he's running so fast, but he has to have time to kiss the girl, and his head stretches way out to allow him time for that. This is all Ub's stuff here, too. He did this whole sequence. Very fast animator. And there's some of those sparks again.
And the tobacco chaw was another familiar sight in these cartoons.
That's a gag they did over and over again in Oswald's, was the girl's pants are always coming off. They did it in an early Mickey, too, the firefighters, where Minnie just falls right out of her pants.
And that apparently is the end.
Bye, folks.